Hey guys, so let's talk about Christians and dating. I've done a video about Christians dating, like it's probably 2 years ago or something like that. But I want to talk about that today. Dating in Christianity. What are your opinions on that? What are your thoughts? Share that with me, guys, in the comments below. I find that sometimes as believers, rather than dating God's way, we're dating the world's way. Dating oftentimes is done exactly the same way that we were dating before we became Christians. And by that, I mean the same rules apply, okay? When believers in Christ are dating, they are normally Netflix and chill, okay? They're still doing like what you did in the world. You go over to your boyfriend's house, your girlfriend's house, and you relax, right? You watch movies together, still on the phone, talking late into the late night hours and all of that. Going to the movies at whatever time at night. Go catch a 7 o'clock movie. The movie's gonna take you till about 9:30. Then you're still going out to try to eat later, going out late. And I think we talked about the phone, right? Conversation, the content is going to change the longer you stay on the phone. And where we go, what we're doing, a lot of times it's exactly the same as when you were dating before. And so therefore you end up having the same results as you would have with, your boyfriend and girlfriend that you dated when you were before you became a Christian, because you're doing it exactly the same way. And truly, what is the way to do this? What do we do? Well, the thing is, number one, really being led by God. It really boils down to your personal relationship with God. That's what it's going to boil down to. If you have a relationship where you have a prayer life, you're in your word, maybe you didn't pray or something, but you're not, more often than not, you're in your word. When you do that, God is going to begin to transform your heart. He's going to transform your mind in the way that you think. And when he does that, when he transforms your heart and he transforms your mind, he's going to help you with your approach to dating. He's going to change the way you think about dating. And even if that person that you're interested in, even if they have a worldly way to date, you're going to be able to recognize it and say, nah, this is not how we're going to do it. You're either going to be able to talk to that person and you guys get on the same page, or you just know this is not the person. There's a way that God would transform you. And I say it because I understand it now. I didn't understand it before because I was carnal in the mind. So I never thought about any differences in dating other than, oh, this is a Christian man, or the guy saying this is a Christian woman. But other than that, we're doing everything the same, okay? We're going out and we're going to go to the movies and we're going to go here, we're going to go to this concert, still go to comedy shows with cursing in it. You still go to events where, you're going to watch the movies, TV shows, you're getting together. Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Okay, I'm coming over. That is normally how believers are dating. But you can't do that. If you're going over to someone's house, you're setting yourself up. You are setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up to fall into the same habits and the same ways that you had when you were unsaved. Think about it. It's not going to be different because, oh, this is a Christian. He's a Christian. She's a Christian. You're alone in an apartment, alone in a house together. It's not about not having self-control. You're not supposed to be over there. But you can't, sometimes it's hard to think, but what else will we do? Exactly. The reason why we think that way is because we're conformed to the world. It's normal to go over to someone's house and hang out. It's normal for us to go to the movies. But there's so many other things. No, you don't have to go to their house. No, you don't have to go to the movies late at night. You can go in the day. You could catch a matinee. You also have to be mindful of the content of what you're going to go see. And I think a lot of people, and so if you can't if there's nothing that you could just go see, that's good. There are other things that you can do together. People might think it's corny to go have a picnic. I don't think it's corny to have a picnic. I'll go. Yes. Let's go have some bologna sandwiches by the lake. You could go take a walk in the park. I mean, come on. It doesn't have to be dark. Go out in the day. Go have lunch together. Go eat together in the day. Go to a museum together. There are things that they have that you can do in the daytime, guys. That's absolutely normal. Go drive and go to like a farmer's market or whatever they have going on, day event. They have stuff going on. Go to the beach and come home that day. You don't have to stay overnight. We understand, and what's been normal is, oh, it's a long weekend. Where we're going to go? Let's go out of town. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. That's normal. But you can go somewhere and come back that same day. You don't spend the night. You have to be, and it's normal. Invite the person over as you get closer. Bring around your family, your parents. Let somebody see them. Go out with other people. And go home at a certain time, guys. Get home at a decent time. You can talk to each other as much as you want, but I think at nighttime, need to be a wrap on that. Calling somebody 9 o'clock, talking for an hour long, all of this. I mean, talking late, talking about what's the content, talking about sex or what you like sexually and what you wear and, what kind of sexual positions you like. This has no business being in the content, being a part of our conversation as believers. But you find a lot of times, even if one person understands that this is not the way we do it, normally that man or the woman that person is interested in, they're interested in them, they have a carnal thing. They have a carnal way of doing things. They don't want to call you during the day. They want to call you late at night. They want to have long conversations and talk about sexual things. And if you don't, then you're lame. They want you to send them pictures, or they start to send you pictures and bring you in. They want to talk about your past sexual tryst, if you have any, or theirs, or what they like, and they'll be testing the waters to see. And oh my goodness, guys, it's shameful, because most believers will think the things that I've suggested, there are many, not most, but there are many who will think that's like crazy, that's boring. They want to be kissing. They want to be getting hot and bothered together. Because they believe it's normal, like, hey, yeah, I could have sex or not having sex with this person, but we can kiss, we can get worked up. No, it's not. French kissing too? No. How about you save your kiss? Wouldn't that be nice? But guess what I hear a lot of people talking about too? Well, you gotta know what's under the hood before you buy the car. So people are like, I want to know what this person's like sexually before I marry them, because what if she's not good in bed, and what if he's not good in bed? But let's think about this for a second. Why do you know what good in bed is? Because you've been around, because you've been with somebody else already. So our reference is normally from a fornicating, adultering, or just ungodly connection that we've made in the past. There's somebody that you have in mind, or these individuals have in mind, when they're talking about trying it out. You want to know if he can rub it, lick it, smack it down like Tyrone. You want to know if she can go like the Energizer Bunny, like Jane. You have a point of reference. You want to know if it's going to be jiggling like it does perhaps in the pornography you watch. And I mean, there are Christian singles who are participating in oral sex and anal sex and all of that. They trying each other out and they doing all types of things, and then they get caught up. Oh, you want to try it? No, you don't want to try it. Now you're having it all the time. And guys, we have to be honest with what's the point of reference? There's somebody that rocked your world, that you have made the standard, and if nobody can do this for you, oh, it's on and popping. There's some girl that rocked your world, or some things you like to do, and you want to make sure, well, I want to know what she feels like. I want to know if she can do this. Why is that important? Let's think about it, guys. It's a carnal mentality. It's a worldly mentality. Whoever God has for you, the Lord is you guys are going to be able to satisfy one another. And whatever is lacking, there should be enough love between you two that you guys can work those through. And that's why it's important that people get healed and restored, because you're right. Let's say it like this. You don't want to be with a person who they have issues. Let's say that they've been hurt in the past. Things has occurred to them, has happened to them, and they're not good with as far as when it comes to intimacy, they're not comfortable showing love, expressing it, and giving it. You don't want to be with that person. That person has to get themselves healed by the Lord before they get with someone. Because what can happen is there are people who can fake the funk and be a certain way, and then when you get with them, they have all these issues, and now the person you're married to, the woman that you are married to, you realize she does not like sex because of something that's happened to her, and now she has a problem giving herself to you and all of that. So that's why I think it's very important not to just be caught up in the looks and the moments or whatever, because there's some women, they really do have some issues with that, but they will, to get you to marry them or to get you to be with them, they will play the part. But once you're married, she'll lock down. She'll shut down on you. And then all of a sudden there'll be all these problems, because now she doesn't have to try to get you. Men can do the same thing too. They can pretend to be a certain way with you, and once you get married to them, they have all these other issues going on. So that's why it's important to be led. I believe it's very important to be led by the Spirit of God, because God is going to open your eyes. He's not going to let you be fooled. You're going to discern some things, and God will let you know this is not the person, this is not the time, this person still needs to be healed, or the relationship will just end. Sometimes relationships ends not necessarily always because there's been something bad that happened, but that person is not mature yet. That person is not ready yet. That person's not while they may have some good qualities, they're not in a position to be a husband or wife, or really be someone that you can be getting to know at the moment, because they still have problems. You can meet a man or a woman that they can be so sweet, considerate, everything, but they have this thing going on with them. Now, if they just wear socks and sandals or something like that, or her feet are crusty, that's not a reason to just break up with a person. While some may think so. But if it's something with character issues, moral issues, you can't overlook those things, guys. But other than that, there are things that God will show you. Yes, this person has wonderful qualities. There are things that's good about them. But if they're disqualifying factors and some things about them morally, ethically, spiritually, there's just some things that's completely off, don't try to override those things. You got to let that person go. Let them mature in the Lord. They must be willing to. You cannot be the person that's trying to fix them. And that's the other thing. Dating is not, when as believers, sometimes what happens is we pick up these projects. People that's under renovation, they still have things going on within them, and it begins to show in the relationship. They may have problems with their flesh. They may have problems with anger. They may have all this other stuff going on in their lives, all these connections, whatever it may be. When God opens your eyes and you see that, you need to let that person go on back in the oven and get baked all the way through. It's not done yet. One of my favorite cakes is red velvet cake. Oh, it's so good. Woo! But guess what? If I try to eat that cake before it's all the way done, it's not going to be the same. If I get it where it's almost done, it's going to taste okay, but it's not going to taste as good as it would. So that's what I mean. Let that person get themselves reconciled to God. We as women should not be trying to build a man. They have the Build-A-Bear factory. We're not going to build a man. You should not be in relationships where you're wearing a hard hat, tool belt, and steel-toe boots to keep propping this man up. No, he needs to get himself before the throne of God and get himself together. He may have great qualities. Because I've met someone that had great qualities, awesome, wonderful qualities. Seemed like the perfect man, but he wasn't. He had other things going on. So, upon seeing those things, what I should have done was let it go. But I was carnal. So I was like, I looked at the other things. No, you will cause yourself a lot of heartache and pain. Just because someone says I'm a Christian man or I'm a Christian woman, you got to watch their fruit. That is what's important, guys. So you don't want to be doing that, ladies. You don't want to, he needs this, and you got to go pick him up, and la la la, and he has this, and he has this going on with this woman, and he's behind on child support, and you got to help him do this, and da da da, and he doesn't have an apartment, and his house is this, and he needs, no, let that man be. Because here's the thing about it. When you are getting so involved, and you're doing all these things for him, especially I'm talking about as a man, when you are doing all these things for this man, something in him is going to begin to resent you. Either he's going to become even more dependent on you, and he does not do what he needs to do to be responsible. Or, and so you're going to have a big man baby on your hands. Or because he's a man, there's something within him. He's going to feel ashamed. And while you helped him, he will probably not be with you. Because you're the one that helped him to do this and to do that. And sometimes what will happen as women, if you're not careful, because you're so used to fixing him that you don't give him a voice. He does not have anything. You're always telling him what he could do differently. So now you become his mother. And the last time I checked, nobody wants to date their mom. But the flip side of it, the reason why that happens is because that man does not have his life in order, and all he did was tell you all the things that he had wrong going on, and so you end up going in there and helping him, and you don't want to do that. He needs to do things on his own. I understand, like, if you are married to this person and a man falls on hard times, then yes, you're going to help him as the wife. But being a girlfriend and he falls on hard times and stuff like that, he has to work those things out. He has to work those things out. He has to work on being a better person, getting himself a car. If he's driving your car and you're picking him up all the time, he won't want to get one because he's already driving yours. We know that there are circumstances and situations that's different. That man may have had a car already, something happened, you're getting together, meeting up, his car's in the shop, he's working on getting some things, so right now it may be that you may drive your car. This is a different scenario. I'm just talking about a person that tends to let things slide. He has pretty much like no ambition, or the minute you provide or you're helping him out, he's not looking at, okay, let me get better. He becomes dependent on you. So maybe you start taking a bus, your friends are picking you up, and he's driving your car around. No, you don't want to do that. Okay? So the build a bear thing, what's going to happen? We're going to be messing up, right? You're going to think of grace, mercy, love, and forgiveness. You're going to be walking in these 4 attributes that are godly, but it's going to mess you up because you didn't add God's wisdom, discernment, discretion, and his knowledge and his understanding. These things are very important when you're applying grace, mercy, love, and forgiveness. These are a must. But if you don't have the wisdom of God, you're going to find yourself getting bamboozled. In addition, men, you can go through things as well. God will show you this lady may have nice qualities about her. She may be able to cook and feed you into entrapment. Cook for you, do all the stuff. She's working hard, but she's got a secret. She's got some ways, and God will be showing it to you. And what would you do? You may ignore that. Oh, but she can cook though. Oh, but she's good in bed though. She's got a nice house. She's got this. She's got a degree. But her character sucks. You may listen to her. God's going to have you listen. He's going to let you hear some things. You're going to hear how she really thinks about things. What her position is. It's going to come out. Regardless of how much a person may try to portray themselves to be a certain way, the more you listen, if you take time to listen, you're going to see that they're a certain way. The longer you're with them and you ask the Lord to show you, you're going to see that she may have a completely different idea of what marriage is, what the role of a wife, what the role of a husband is. She may have certain ways that she thinks about certain people, certain cultures. You have to look at how she's with your family. Okay? I'm not talking about the family where some people have family that's just rude and wrong. But when you have family that's kind, how does she treat them? She try to make fun of your closeness with your siblings. She making you feel like, oh, you because you have good connections and good friends. Is she making you feel like something is wrong with it? Because you're close with your family, because you're close with your mom? Is she jealous because you're close to your mother? Is he jealous because you're close to your brothers? Guys, and they mention it, jokingly say something really off about your relationship with your family. You got to pay attention to those things, guys. And so what will happen as Christians, a few things are going to happen. Either you're following after the ways of the world, doing everything just like the world, or you are using grace, mercy, love, and forgiveness in situations where this relationships need to be cut off. The relationship needs to end because you're not using what? Discretion, discernment, knowledge. None of that. All that is just gone out the door. And so, guys, it's really through our everyday relationship with God, establishing our relationship with Him. That is the way that we will have the mind as He changes our heart, as we get closer to Him and He changes our heart and He changes our mind. What's going to happen, guys, at that point, you're just going to know. You're going to be able to date differently and date better. God will give you ideas and He will show you how you both can have a good time together as a couple, get to know each other without following the world's way. You will know how to have conversations that are appropriate without crossing lines. You will take your time with one another. You're not going to be trying to get under the hood and having, as I said, trying to have sex with someone, trying to try them out. You're going to trust God, that God is going to bring you that right man, that right woman. They're going to know how to satisfy you. You're going to know how to do that. It's just going to happen. And whatever small things may be there, God will work it out. You'll be patient with that person. Sometimes God wants you to be patient with that individual. And you have to. All right, so I got kicked out. But what I'm saying, God will give you the patience and the understanding for one another intimately. You don't have to be trying somebody out before. Sex should not be the reason why you're like, oh yeah, I gotta try them out first. No, then your heart's not right. You don't really love that person. You don't really care about that person if you're like, well, I want to know what they're like in bed first. No, everything else, knowing them as a person, an individual, a character, loving them the way Christ loved the church. When you get together, you will enjoy your husband. God will let that happen. But again, as I said, if that's what you're thinking about, it's because you have a point of reference. And truly, the truth of the matter is we should not have a point of reference. We shouldn't have that. We shouldn't be able to say, well, I tried out Joe, John, Buddy, and Mike, so I hope you can keep up with them. Or I've had Sally, Sue, Renee, and Karen, and I hope you can keep up with them. No, what we need to do is go back to a manufacturer settings and erase all those stains of the past, and let God lead us in how He wants things to be. You don't have to be sleeping with that person. You don't have to be having heavy petting and all these things. Stop comparing him or her to, Long John Silver that you've seen on the pornography, or Long John Silver that you have in your bottom drawer. If you literally have some sex toy, ladies, that's like a big old fire hydrant that you can turn it up to 10, and it'll take you to a point of climax that you literally black out with it still going and come to. What man is going to be able to please you? If you are buying something that's super big, super long, and you can charge it up and it can go nonstop, your body is going to be used to that. So when you're with a man who is not that, do not have those measurements, dimensions, diameter, whatever you want to call, circumference, and he cannot keep going the way you're used to. You're used to turning on a machine, and you're used to it just bzzz, and it's going to go, 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 go. And you're used to having these intense orgasms. You're not going to get that with a human. He's going to maybe shift. He's going to move different, and you're going to think he's lame. I mean, I have seen stuff. I used to go to passion parties back in the days. So if you have a bullet, and if you have these things, if you literally have these javelins that you can lay with and turn on. And ladies, you're not going to be able to be satisfied by a man. And so you've got to think now what your point of references may be. You may never have slept with other men, but you have been sleeping with machines for a long time. So now when it's time for you to be with your husband and be with your husband, you're going to have a problem because you're going to think he is not good in bed. But the thing is, he's not a machine. And so sometimes you all could still be married and you're sneaking and you have your own thing. You got your Thunderbolt in the back closet hid somewhere with the shoe boxes. And when he goes to work or whatever, you're getting it on. And so you can't get with him. But right now we're talking about singles. I kind of went over in that direction. So guys, we just have to think of doing things God's way. Unfortunately, we're in times where many believers are carnal. Many believers will think taking things slowly, going out in the daytime, doing things. They're used to being in the dark. They're used to Netflix and chilling. They're used to being under some blankets, being in somebody's house, spending the weekend, No, you don't have to spend a weekend with this person. Guys, if you can try to do things that way and wait, when you get married, there's going to be so much to discover about each other. To have never have kissed one another, to have never had intimacy with one another. You're going to be able to enjoy each other. Explore one another. Spend your weekends together. It'll be different. It'll be new because you haven't done it. You have not done it. Maybe you've done it before in your past, but God can change some things. So, but when you're doing it with this, when you're spending the weekend with this person, there'll be such joy. It'll be so different because you waited. Not only that, guys, it's so important because intimacy changes your perspective. It clouds your judgment. So if you're already kissing and you're already having intimacy with a person, you are not going to see what's right before you that's not right about the person, or you're going to be willing to ignore it because you're so tied to them. So guys, I hope I answered some of your questions. You can leave comments below if you like, or you can email me if you have questions about anything. But in everything, guys, trust God. Trust the Lord with all your heart. Lean not unto your own understanding in all your ways. That includes dating. Acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. All right, guys, God bless.